Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Coming to you live from the outskirts of the internet. This is the Gaming Saloon for May 20th, 2023, with your host, Spacebreaker2448 and Rampant Epsilon.
Hi.
I was hoping we would start with good news on Pokemon this week, but no, we're not allowed.
I mean, it'll be soon. DM.
Trademark. Also, yay, we get to talk about a PlayStation showcase like 2 weeks after the fact. Because there's a PlayStation showcase the 24th. Apparently, it may or may not be like their E3 showcase, essentially. Because it's like an hour long. And I was watching Maximilian Dude's videos on it, or his predictions video on it. And he's just like, yeah, talk is this is the big one for them. So more or less it's their E3 showcase, essentially. Expect the Spider-Man, expect probably a Final Fantasy something or another, amongst other things.
You mean the Spider-Man?
Yes. He actually made, because he does gift sub predictions where he has to gift X amount of subs depending on the prediction. He bets, I forget what it was, so many amount of subs for if they showed Venom was playable.
Nah, that's a Spidey 3.
Yeah.
A Venom suit, maybe.
Mm-hmm. I would assume you would get a Venom Peter and then a Venom Miles suit for the game.
Or at least get one of them, kind of deal. And then get a suit variation kind of deal. Like one proper for the game.
I feel like we have an official Venom Miles Spider-Man design. Yeah, we do. Okay. I was like, we have an official Venom Miles.
I don't know if they'd pull the trigger on both of them, though.
Right. Well, I was thinking more just like unlockable skin.
I mean, yeah.
Not necessarily plot relevant.
Oh, I think plot relevant. If you think about it, we had two main villains in the first Spider-Man game.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if we didn't have something similar in the second one.
Mm-hmm.
And I could honestly see it working. Could be a case of, you know, Harry kind of has stuff that resembles our symbiote friend.
Mm-hmm.
It would kind of make sense if that wasn't how we went with it.
Mm-hmm. I reckon if you put a gift sub thing down for a Wolverine trailer of some kind. I think he did. I don't remember. But yeah, that's next week. I may or may not decide to do a live reaction stream to that. I think it'll depend on how I'm feeling the day of, right around when it happens.
Which day?
Wednesday. It's... Yeah, it's Wednesday at like 4 o'clock. They do say there will be copyrighted music, so mute accordingly.
Also known as just have a background playlist running and use virtual audio cables to where you can actually hear what's going on.
Pretty much. I just mute whenever it comes up. But yeah, that is next week. But we do have stuff to talk about. Some stuff. Not a whole lot of stuff. Because it's not E3 season just yet. Even though I guess we have to come up with a new term because E3's dead.
Yeah.
I guess Summer Game Showcase season, since that's the new E3. But I guess, Tommy, what have you been playing the last couple weeks?
Well, I mean, that isn't a duh.
We'll talk about that in a minute.
Not a whole lot outside of like doing some stuff in Star Citizen. Mainly playing around with, before the last few days, the PTU and testing the salvage missions. As I've said, I find them very calming, which is interesting. And also because I have seen where people have made the comparison between salvage, the way you salvage, and Power Washer Simulator. I'm kind of leaning towards wanting to get that now. Because I'm like, yeah, I mean, that actually could be kind of nice.
I mean, I will call this person out. It was Chris from Long Just a Ways on Twitter. It was just like, I don't get Power Wash Simulator. Why do people want to play this? And I'm like, you have not seen someone play this game, apparently, because it's like, it seems like just a chill, relaxed game of just like, I don't want to be stressed. I'm just gonna power wash some cars and buildings and stuff. Yeah. Or if you've got the DLC, some Final Fantasy VII stuff.
And honestly, the salvage missions are very similar to that. The only downside is you got to deal with, the fact that Star Citizen servers sometimes love to implode on themselves.
Are not great.
I really wish they would let people do dedicated servers on their own.
Mm-hmm.
Like basically say, look, everyone can run dedicated servers, but it's not going to be the official servers. And if you get into the main universe and wanting to play with literally randoms, then your stuff in that server will not correlate. That way you don't have people grinding in an offline server and then hopping into the main.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's pretty much it.
I got to try out a new game on Game Pass that I didn't know was on Game Pass until I checked for it. Have you heard of Cassette Beast?
Oh.
Okay, it's a Pokemon-like, so it's a monster catcher kind of game, but it has some unique quirks to it that are kind of interesting. So instead of like catching monsters and using them in battle, you record monsters on little cassettes, like old cassettes, and then you transform into them using cassette players. So in essence, you have like your monster's health bars, but you have your own health bar that you have like in between changing out. So that kind of like adds in a little quirk. It's pretty cool and pretty fun. I really have enjoyed the hours I put into it. It doesn't have like a gym, like you're going out and battling gyms. the story of it is essentially you've been tossed into this world where there are the monsters and stuff, and you're trying to get home. So you're like going on different RPG quests and stuff for people to like figure out how to get home. So there's a lot of like quests and stuff that you have. All the monsters are on the overworld, so you just have overworld encounters. The catch mechanic is really good though. So when you're trying to copy or record one of the monsters, as you're recording it, it cannot die. So the turn you're trying to catch something, you can't kill it. Even if you deplete its health to 0, it will stay on the field until your turn is over and you record it or not. And your percentage chance of recording it is visible to you the entire time. Like when you initiate the catch at the start of the turn, you will see what your percentage chance of catching it is. And depending on if you take damage or you deal damage or status effects to that monster, that chance will actually increase or decrease accordingly. So you always know if you are guaranteed a catch, which is really cool. I really appreciate that. And like there's other factors as well, like level and all that. The other major thing that is kind of interesting is what it does with types. So every monster has a type, but it's only a single type. There are no dual types in this unless you do the fusion mechanic with your partner, which the fusion mechanic just throws your two monsters together, a la like Pokemon Infinite Fusion, essentially. And thus you are those two types. There's actually a separate like Pokedex for all the fusions, and it's like 14,400 of them. From, I think it's like 251 is the actual number of monsters you can catch in the game. But typing isn't necessarily like bonus damage in this game. So if you hit a monster that is weak to a type, you actually inflict a debuff depending on the type. So every type interacts differently. So like sometimes you slow them down. Sometimes you get lifesteal. Sometimes you do damage over time. On the flip side, if you get hit or you hit an enemy that is strong against the type, they get a buff. They can get like an attack buff, a speed buff. They can get like health over time, you know, et cetera, et cetera. But there's also a third quirk to this. You can change the typing of monsters in a fight. So the example here is if you're fighting an ice type, if you hit an ice type with a fire type attack, they permanently become a water type for the fight. They can't go back. You permanently change their typing and change how they interact with other types in the battle, which is really quirky and strange, and like adds an additional layer on the type charting. But it works. I've kind of had to keep the type chart up in the background while I'm playing because I'm like, okay, all right, it's this type. What do I do with this? Her. Also, all battles are 2v2 or 2v1 at least, because you always have a buddy that transforms into a monster with you. But yeah, it's really cool, really neat. The monster designs are really good. There is a Toku monster in it called Tokusect. It is essentially like a kind of a Kamen Rider Ichigo. I'll get a picture of it real quick. There's the sprite of it. And of course, it's air type. But yeah, it's really cool, really fun. It's on Game Pass. And I want to say it's on Steam as well. And it's one of a more budget release. Yeah, it's like $20 on Steam. So it's more of like a budget release. but it's really cool. There's some really nice music to it that you can have either a vocals on or vocals off for the music. I've just kept it vocals on because it's fine by me. Yeah, it's really neat, really cool. I've really enjoyed my time with it. I know Hawk has streamed it a couple times just because, like, hey, it's got a little bit of Tokyo in it, might as well. I say give it a try, folks. Besides that, I finished up Future Redeemed for Xenoblade Chronicles 3 since that released recently. I was not expecting Xenogears references, or not Xenogears, Xenosaga references in the game, and them suggesting that they might be continuing Xenosaga's story, maybe? Or like Xenoblade and Xenosaga are tied together. I don't know. I don't know anything about Xenosaga, so I'm just like, okay, this is happening. I'm sure someone will explain this at some point. But otherwise, it was really fun, really cool, and I really enjoyed it. The Xenoblade games are very good. But otherwise, shall we talk Tears of the Kingdom then? Because we might be talking about this for a few shows in a row.
I guess so.
So, how has your Tears of the Kingdom playthrough been? And where are you at?
Honestly, haven't played.
Oh, okay.
Because I kind of recording going.
Mm-hmm. Have you done a lot of plot?
No.
Okay, then neither have I. I feel like I've started a bunch of plot, but I haven't like progressed any plot. Because I found Hateno. I don't know if you found Hateno Village or not. And went in.
No.
Okay. I found it. I found the house you can buy in the first game. It's all decorated and stuff. There's I believe it's the picture from the end of the DLC inside. It's like framed in on the wall. I feel like it's that picture, or it's one of the pictures from the memories. And Zelda has a little workshop in the well behind the house that has some children's drawings on the walls because in her diaries it says that she helped start a school in Hateno as a part of the rebuilding efforts for Hyrule. So essentially some kids drew her some pictures and she hangs them up on the wall. It's adorable. There is a quest in there that tells you, by the way, there's an item in the throne room of Hyrule Castle to get. Would you care to guess which one it is?
Is it a certain shield?
Nope.
Oh.
It's the tunic. I saw that and I'm like, well, I'm not getting that until the end game, I guess. Because it literally says it's in the throne room. I've also found Kakariko. What?
I mean, you could get it now.
Maybe. I don't know if you can even access Hyrule Castle, considering it's floating in the air.
Sure you can.
You know, I haven't tried. But I've also found Kakariko. There, they have these rings, and they mention, I think it's the 6 sages on those rings, which makes me go, that feels like an important thing for this game. But Pai is actually in charge of Kakariko now. Impa is off looking at the hieroglyphs we've seen in the trailers, or the Nazca line stuff we've seen in the trailers.
That I've already found one of.
I have seen one in the air, but I have not gotten close to any of them. So I don't know what they do.
Still don't fully get what they do, but you do get small bits of plot when you find them. So.
Oh, okay. They might be the equivalents of memories, I guess.
Yep.
Okay, fantastic. I did find one of the bosses we've seen in the trailers. And it's not one of the major ones, though. You know the one that's all the boxes stitched together?
Yeah.
I found that boss on a sky island. I think it's the third version of it because it said something Golem 3. Guess how much damage it did?
Probably too much.
It one-shotted me with every attack it had. I'm still at 4 hearts, by the way.
I think I did force up to 5.
I got a stamina chunk when I got enough.
I did not, because Ascend is stupidly broke, and I don't think we really have to have too much as far as stamina goes.
I'm sure. But yeah, I found it. I could have killed it. I got it down to half health before I died one time, but I'm like, I don't have enough weapons on me to kill it. Because I wasn't doing a super ton amount of damage. And like I literally just did not have enough weapons on me to kill it. At least sword wise. I could probably have killed it if I started implementing bows and stuff, but I'm like, what you have to do is you have to grab a specific block in it with the super hand and you have to jiggle it in order to break it apart, and then you have to attack that block because that's the main block with all the health. So like you're supposed to hit it with swords and stuff, but I'm like, I probably could hit this with bows, but I'm like, by that point, I think I spent like a half hour to an hour of the stream trying to fight it. So, yeah. I did find where we can upgrade batteries. It is not the goddess statue. Just outside of the Castletown like headquarters, essentially. On the right, there's this like block, essentially, or this is like gray rock structure. If you say hi to the little robot friend there, he'll take those like glowing nuggets I was telling you about 100 of those, and gives you a piece of a battery. So that is how you upgrade batteries in the game. And I think the batteries are like 4 pieces to make it like a full one, maybe. It might be 3 to 4. But that's how you'll upgrade the batteries in the game. And you get those nuggets just by turning in the Zonanite into like one of the refineries we ran into already at this point. Like the one that was on the Sky Islands. You just turn that in for those materials and just go turn it into him and be like, hey, I would like a battery nugget, please. I have also explored a good bit of the depths, apparently, because I found the main quest down there. So, you remember what happened to Koga in Breath of the Wild?
Yeah.
How we kicked him into a bottomless pit, like the jobber he is?
Yeah.
Turns out that pit's not very bottomless. We kicked him into the depths, and he's been trolling around there, finding all sorts of stuff, and now he can build vehicles. And I fought him, and he never hit me at all. Because guess what happened?
What?
He would drive at me with a vehicle. I would strafe him. I would pop him in the head with a bow, and then I would go beat the shit out of him. And I did that for like 5 minutes, and then he eventually gave up and ran away. And now I have to chase him around the depths because he's now going around to the different, I think, factories that are in the depths. And I guess you have to go around to them and beat him a couple different times. But the deaths are really interesting because there is no light down there. So you have to use those seeds on your bow to like light your path so you can keep going, because there is that like not calamity stuff. I forget what's technically called in this game. That locks you out of hearts if you get hit by it. And unfortunately, in the depths, if you get hit by enemies that are empowered by that, that also locks you out of your hearts to where you can't heal. I was at half health at one point, and it was very scary. But you have to light your way with those, and you have to find these like light root parts, and then you interact with those with your hand, and those like light up a big perp in the map, and that's how you get the map revealed down there. And it seems like more or less they've made 3 maps in the game. They've made the Hyrule map, they've made the Skyworld map, and then they've made the Depths map, because I think they're all about the same size. Which is kind of nuts. That we have essentially 3 times the amount of Hyrule to explore now. Kind of. Even though the Skyworld is not like a full explorable map. I think that's pretty much everything from my 4.5 hours this week. Besides, I ran in circles like twice for no good reason.
I mean, did find out there's rockets for the Zona tools.
I saw that in one of the trailers that we have with it. We essentially have the rocket module from Force A, and by that I mean we can strap our rocket to our shield.
You can strap a rocket to anything.
That's a dangerous thing. I feel like
there is legitimately one of the shrines that lets you do.
Oh God, I can't wait.
And I kept screwing around with said shrine.
I found where the steering wheels are deposited. The Gashapon machine and Kakariko will give you steering wheel nuggets to play with. I was so happy because I'm like, yay, I can get rid of Epona and now like make a car. Which, forgot to mention, in the depths, the last 2 runes are unlocked for you doing the depths quest. You get the camera when you start it, and then you get auto build, which auto build is just, hey, you built this thing. Would you like to build it again automatically from your history of building things? Or if we give you a blueprint. So that's nice to have. I had a funny moment where to get the rune, I was told by totally not Yiga people, hey, can you fix our cars for us? So I tried to fix the one car, except I didn't put the wheel on correctly. It kind of just stuck on the side, so it wouldn't roll properly. I tried to shake it off, but they're like, no, you fixed it. Now fix the other one. And I'm like, guys, this isn't gonna run. Guys, are you sure? I mean, okay, fine. I should have known then that they were Yiga.
I mean, yeah.
But yeah, I'm still incredibly enjoying my time with Tears of the Kingdom, even though I have done 0 plot. Like, I have started, I think, all of the main quests of the game, but I have not progressed any of them, which I need to actually do progression on them, because I would like to see what the plot of Tears of the Kingdom is and see if it's better or if Zelda gets to do anything important. Because I'm afraid she's not going to get to do anything important besides be stuck in the past for 90% of the game.
I mean, that's doing something important. He is being plot convenience.
As per usual.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that is it. Anything else before we hit the news?
No.
All right, then. We start off with the good news, bad news, I guess, with Pokemon Home. So this past week on Twitter, they announced that Pokemon Home update for Scarlet and Violet was coming next week. I believe they announced it to be May 24th, actually. Hooray! Essentially, you could transfer Pokemon back and forth, not only to Scarlet and Violet, but also Sword and Shield, Arceus, and Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. And of course, everything can go in from Let's Go Games, Pokemon Go, Pokemon Bank. Hooray! Exciting! Also, when you deposit stuff in from Scarlet and Violet, here is a Sprigatito, Fuecoco, and Quaxly with their hidden abilities as gifts. Hooray as well! Also, there's an internal move learner in Pokemon Home coming with this update. So you can teach people teach Pokemon moves in Home before you transfer them to other games. Yay! Are you ready for the bad news?
It's coming soon, TM.
Yep. 24 hours later, they went to Twitter, and as the title of the show is, said, "Oops, we put the Mudsdale before the cart. The update's not ready. Sorry. We'll get back to you when it's ready." I have to ask the question, how the fuck was this supposed to come out next week, but then you immediately turn around and go, wait, no, we can't do that? Did something happen? Because I feel like they would have been bug testing by then, and they would have been fine. So I don't know what the problem is. Unless something very late came up that they had to more or less just go, nope, we can't even give you a date again. But see you soon, I guess.
The problem is money.
Probably. Because for those wondering, Game Freak has got a lot on their plate besides, the Pokemon DLC stuff and maybe a new Pokemon game, because also they're apparently making an action adventure game. Codename Project Bloom. But they're working in conjunction with Private Division to make this. Private Division is part of Take-Two. All we have is this one concept art. Apparently this is slated for 2026. So like 3 years from now. So yeah. I was gonna be happy and excited, like, yay, Home update, I can transfer stuff, I can like try to get my shiny Greninja. Then it's like, no, denied. I'm just like, Game Freak, why does it feel like they've really fumbled this generation with Scarlet and Violet?
I mean, it only feels like that because they have.
I mean, yes, but it's like, how did you go from like, it felt like they didn't really fumble that bad with Sword and Shield, but now it just feels like they can't get anything right.
Well, I mean, we were supposed to have a new Switch by.
Yeah, there's talks about that, especially because of the investors meeting that happened with Nintendo recently, where they're like, yes, sales are slowing down for the Switch, but again, we are not working on new hardware. That is not a thing we're doing, kind of, sort of, I guess. Even though, I forget, some companies said that they were working on LCD screens for a game console. And it's a case of, well, there's only so many people that can be the case for. I wonder who it could be.
Well, it's not going to be Nintendo anymore. Because, you know, you screw up and say something like that, then you're pretty much just killed yourself.
Yeah. They've since taken down that information, but yeah. But I guess any other thoughts on Pokemon and Game Freak working on a new game to come out in like 3 years?
No.
I take the silence as a nope.
I said no. Discord just didn't pick it up.
Okay. Next up, an update on the continuing progression of Microsoft acquiring Activision. So
no change.
Here's the thing. One of the commissions in the Europe have said yes. Unfortunately for Microsoft, this is not the people that said no to start with. This is a separate trade commission that has said, yes, we are okay with Microsoft acquiring Activision Blizzard. But yeah, the CMA, I believe, who were the original people who said no, I'm still saying no, and actually have doubled down on their no since this approval came out. So essentially, Microsoft is no closer to acquiring Activision Blizzard than they were like 2 weeks ago or so when we talked about it to start with. Which continues to make me go, how much is Microsoft hinging their future plans on this acquisition?
Yes.
Because, and I forgot to put this in, Overwatch, they recently announced for Overwatch 2, they're dropping all of their like story, PvE, skill tree, all of that stuff that was their entire like reason for making Overwatch 2 and releasing it. They're canceling all that, making Overwatch 2 entirely pointless. So yeah, it's kind of a bad week for both companies. It really feels like. But any thoughts on that?
No.
Did Discord eat another no?
I think it did.
Damn. Discord, why?
Bad as that time I even talked into the mic and it still didn't.
All right. Next up, Mortal Kombat is rebooting again. Kind of. It's complicated. We'll talk about it. So, a couple different teasers from NetherRealm had a clock ticking from 9 to 10 to 11, but skipping past 12 and going directly to 1, suggesting that we were getting Mortal Kombat 1 again, kind of. And as with a new CG trailer, they have revealed what is dubbed Mortal Kombat 1, which is a reboot of the franchise, but is actually also a sequel to their DLC release for Mortal Kombat 11 called Aftermath, because this isn't the same Mortal Kombat 1 from before, essentially. Raiden is not the god in charge anymore. Liu Kang is, actually. And from what we see in the trailer, Scorpion and Sub-Zero don't want to murder each other. And Katana and Melina, who also don't seem to want to really murder each other. But Shang Tsung is here to murder everyone else in gory fashion, as you can see in the trailer. But otherwise, there's talk of new mechanics and stuff, and there seems to be roster of assist characters you can pick from to help you out in battles. It's called cameo characters, and they seem to be its own selectable list of characters, kind of like Marvel vs. Capcom 1, that lets you pick like character-specific assists for the battles in there. But otherwise, September 19th is going to be a release on PS5, PC, Xbox Series X, and Nintendo Switch. They are going to put this on the Switch.
Or try to.
Probably via the cloud. But otherwise, we don't have a whole lot of other details. There is the thought of we might see gameplay at the PlayStation Showcase next week. But we'll see. How do you feel about a Mortal Kombat reboot again? Because this would be the second time in not that many years Mortal Kombat has rebooted.
I mean, might as well beat a dead horse.
It feels weird to call this a reboot because I'm like, yes, this is a reboot, but also it's still technically a sequel to 11. So it's a reboot, but it's a sequel at the same time. AKA, it's Final Fantasy VII Remake. Where, yes, it's a remake, but also it's a sequel to Final Fantasy VII, all at the same time, which totally doesn't make it confusing. But we will move on. Splatoon had a trailer for its new season of content called the Sizzle Season. I only bring this up because we've never had the Super Scope in Splatoon 2, did we? Because we've always had the Zapper, but I don't think we ever had the Super Scope as a gun.
I honestly don't know.
I feel like we haven't because I think they built it as a new gun in this. But it's a... Yeah, they call it a new gun in the game. Or in the trailer. But it's like the... Oh, what is it? It's like a blaster. From the looks of it. Because we're getting that and a new paintbrush. And there's another weapon, I think. Or no, I'm thinking we get a new stage. We get a mall stage, and then we're getting a return of the kind of like skate park stage for this season, and missions, which seem to be kind of like action sack kind of stuff. Essentially. So there's like a Trizuka battle where everyone has Trizukas. There's a Foggy Nation, or what they call Foggy Notion, where it's Fog of War. Extreme Jump Battle, where everyone has super jumps. Or like higher than normal jumps. Like kind of a, wouldn't say like 0G essentially, but like something along those lines. So kind of like wacky, oddball game modes, essentially. I think maybe as like a queue option. And then Salmon Run is getting a new map. And then, of course, all the new stuff in the catalog. So how do you feel about the Splatoon 3 update? To come June 1st.
I mean, I've not really played Splatoon 3 enough. Kind of deal. So.
Yeah, I feel like I've only ever.
It might be something neat to try.
Yeah, I feel like I've only ever dropped in whenever Splatfest was happening, and then like, well, the Splatfest is over. I'm done, I guess, for a while.
Same.
But unfortunately, we must end with bad news. Pac-Man 99, unfortunately, will be ending its service later this year. Essentially, August 8th, you're going to not be able to buy custom themes anymore. September 9th, you'll no longer be able to buy the deluxe pack or the 99 mode unlocked DLC. And then October 8th, the main game and free custom themes will be removed from the eShop. Online services will end. So, boo, I guess. It never felt like Pac-Man 99 caught on.
Because Tetris 99 did it first.
Right, but I also felt like Pac-Man 99 it was too complicated. And it just didn't work, I guess. I don't know. It felt like it never quite worked in concept. Like Tetris in Super Mario 35 worked. I don't know. But yeah, goodbye, Pac-Man 99. You'll probably be missed. And that's all we have. That's all we have for news this week. Shall we talk releases?
I guess we shall.
All right, we will kick off on the 23rd. Farming Simulator 23, Nintendo Switch Edition for the Switch. Star Trek Resurgence for Xbox One Series Expedition 4 and 5 on the... Wow, there's so much stuff coming out on the 25th. Jesus. On the 25th, Cassette Beast is actually coming out for Xbox One Series X and Switch. Super Mario Advance, Super Mario World, Super Mario Advance 2, and Yoshi Island, Super Mario Advance 3 are all coming out for the GBA emulator on Switch. The Lord of the Rings Gollum for Xbox One Series Expedition 4 and 5 also comes out, which I feel like no one's talking about the fact that we're getting another Lord of the Rings game, which probably says a lot about that Lord of the Rings game. Let's see. Anything interesting on 26? Pirates Pinball for Xbox One Series X. Home Sheep Home Farmageddon Party Edition for Xbox One Series X, Expedition 4 and 5. Let's see. On the... Skipping the June. On June 1st, Entry in Odyssey Origins Collection for Switch. And then on June 2nd, Shantae for PlayStation 4 and 5. And then We Love Katamari Reroll plus Royal Revere for Xbox One Series Expedition 4, 5, and Switch. And also, the big thing, Street Fighter 6 for Series X, PlayStation 4, and 5. Since I think the open beta is accessible at the moment for folks that want to, play it before the full thing comes out. I'm really curious about the story mode on that, since they're putting that up a whole bunch, and the fact that you can use the various special moves as traversal options, because fucking why not? But that's it for releases. I guess anything else?
No, honestly.
All right, then. Tomorrow, it's more Kamen Rider Black. Hooray! The second episode of the batch this week, I'm just like, wait, why did we throw this in here at the end of the episode? For no reason. What is happening? So it's gonna be fun. Yay.
It don't sound like.
Yeah. I can't wait to tell someone and be like, I really didn't like Kamen Rider Black. And it's just like, but it has Shadow Boone. And I'm like, oh yeah, the character that's not in half the fucking show.
Over half.
Over half the show? Yeah. really like, yeah, that he really does make the show. Next Thursday, I'll be continuing Tears of the Kingdom. Hopefully, we'll make plot progression then. I won't be dumb. Next Friday is not us. Trying to remember if Friday or Saturday we're doing the Slay the Spire stuff. Or Slay the Spire Adventure 2. Okay. I was like, crap, is it Friday or Saturday? But yeah, next Friday.
Remember instead of pulling up the...
That's what I was doing as I was trying to remember. So next Friday will be our Sonic Adventure 2 Slay the Spire multi-world. Technically, half of it is randomized. The other half is already randomized by the nature of video games, so take of that what you will. Saturday might be us doing Star Citizen.
Provided if it servers don't implode, yes.
Provided it cooperates. But that is the week ahead, folks. So if you like what you're seeing, drop a follow. Really appreciate it. Chipping away that Philical at Jesus on Twitter because it makes it alive. Thanks so much for watching Discord Jack. Is this something? Drop by, say hi. See you tomorrow, folks.